Late Night Health continues. I'm Mark Alyn, along with the insane Daryl Wayne. And we're going to talk about something that I think people of all ages want. And I think especially now during the holiday times. And we're going to talk about finding love in all the right places with Servet Hasan and Brian McGowan. Servet, of course, is the co-author of Growing Old Sucks, but it doesn't have to. Brian has a book out. Is your book out yet?
Not quite out yet.
Okay. And we'll have Brian on the show when the book comes out, and he'll be talking about love in that book as well. Guys, welcome to Late Night Health. Finding love at 50 plus. Is it a possibility? Is it doable?
Yes. It does happen. Yeah, there is hope. I am, and I don't mind saying it, I'm 63, and I gave up. I threw in the towel, and I figured, my husband died 27 years ago, and I figured it was, in my 60s, it was pretty much, I'm over with. You become kind of invisible to the rest of the world, or you think. And I just went about my business, and I was having fun, and I met Brian.
And Brian, you have an interesting backstory as well.
Yeah, my wife was sick for many, many years, for 20-plus years, and we went all over the world trying to find a place where she could survive. She finally passed away 6 years ago. And I came back to New York, where I grew up, and just kind of got used to being on my own for the first time and only having to take care of myself. And thought, okay, you know what? It's not so bad being on my own. It's nice being self-directed, and it's nice all of this. In a perfect world, I would have preferred to meet someone, but I was kind of settling into it's going to be okay to be on my own. And then, out of the blue, I meet Servet, and I'm 66, so I really wasn't counting on another, one true love of my life.
And we may have an announcement in early 2022, and maybe we'll do it here on the show. I just thought about that.
Yes, there will be.
Might.
There will be.
All right. So, Servet,
Yeah,
I'll start with you.
absolutely.
Did it take you by surprise?
Yes, it took me by surprise. I was totally unprepared. In fact, our relationship started on the phone because Brian was in New York and I was in California, and I was helping him with this project with the book. And I talked to him like I would a friend because I had no idea. I assumed he was married, had remarried, even though his wife had left. And I just talked to him like a good friend. And so when it evolved into something more, I was completely shocked. And it's not just a kind of romantic love like I had. I've been married before. This is different. This is kind of movie magic love. This is something I didn't even think existed. When people told me they found love like they do in the movies, I told them, that doesn't really happen in real life. And, for me, it did. It did.
Brian, how about you?
It absolutely took me by surprise. I was speaking to this woman in California, and it started with just discussing the book, and then it became a little more personal, and then the calls got longer and longer. And after a couple of days, I was down in Tennessee. My brother was sick, and I was down there, and all of a sudden I was missing talking to Servet. And I said, this is crazy. I don't even know this woman. We've only spoken a few times on the phone, and yet we just had a connection like I've never had with anybody else. And all of a sudden I was just like thinking, holy cow, I have to meet this person at some point.
And when you met, was it love at first sight? What was that like?
Well, we'd spoken on the phone for 2.5 months, and it was every day, and it started to be like twice a day. And it would go on sometimes. I'd be like, do you realize we've been on the phone for 4 hours? One of these things, and we wouldn't even know, and then it would be the same thing the next day and the next day and the next day. So it was kind of, I was falling already, and I was like, I know we haven't met yet, but it's like, and I guess you can't really, jump to any conclusions until you actually meet in person. So it was a little, I was anxious because I was already, after 2.5 months, I so connected with Servet that I was, I felt like I'm in love, and we're just going to go meet and it's all going to be perfect. But, I was terrified that it would fall apart when we actually met in person. It's easy to be nice day 3,000 miles away, but it's different when you're, under the same roof.
And what about you, Servet? Were you a little anxious as well?
Yeah, of course. I was scared to death because, I put my heart on my sleeve, and I thought, don't do that, and I already had. And then when I saw him, we for me, it was love at first sight. I mean, it was love at first talking, with 5-hour phone calls quite often. But when we actually met, I thought, oh gosh, I'm in fully. I've got 2 feet in, and my fear was naturally that maybe he didn't have 2 feet in, and then what? Here we go again. And it wasn't like that, though. It was just pure magic.
I recently sat and watched Sleepless in Seattle, which I think is one of the most romantic films when they hold hands at the end of the movie. They haven't even kissed. I think everybody wants that kind of love.
Yeah, I think
right?
It's rare. I mean, I'm not taking Brian for granted for one single second of one single day. I know how rare it is. And so everybody wants it. I think if you're lucky in this lifetime, you will find it. But it's rare. And I think that we both have been around the world and around to hell and back a few times, that we are never going to take that for granted.
Brian,
absolutely.
You're up.
Absolutely true. So that's also my best friend. I mean, there's no one I would rather spend time with. And, I certainly keep waiting for the time, and then we've talked about this, we keep waiting for the time when things kind of plateau and it normalizes, but it doesn't. It just keeps getting better and better, and we, I just want to spend more and more time with her. I've never experienced this. Usually there's a time where I'm like, okay, I'm ready for my own space, but that doesn't happen. We just connect so well, and we have so much fun together, and we laugh together, and we're just on the same page on so many things that it's almost too easy. It's like, wait a minute, you're a little suspicious for a while because it's too easy. You're like, wait a minute, relationships are supposed to be work. They're supposed to be, challenging and hard, and this isn't. This is the easiest thing in the world, and it's wonderful. And I'm still pinching myself, but after 10 months, it's not going to plateau. I mean, we're way past the period where it should be, normalized, quote unquote.
Wow. Okay. What we're going to do is we're going to take some time out. And when we come back, I want to talk about the physical and the mental benefits of being in movie love. We're talking with Servet Hasan and Brian McGowan, and we're talking about finding love in all the right places after 50. I'm Mark Alyn, along with the insane Daryl Wayne. Join us at LateNightHealth.com. We'll be back in just a couple of moments.
You're listening to Late Night Health with Mark Alyn. The show continues in a moment.
Recently, I met Jacqueline from Bright here in Los Angeles. She gave me a hearing exam and then showed me how to hear again with the new Signia Pure Series hearing aids, and she can give you your life back too. I hear birds chirping, birds cooing, and even my wife. They easily connect to my smartphone. The Signia hearing aids are amazing, and with the charge and go, I don't have to fiddle with batteries and hear all day long. Not hearing is frustrating for you and your family. I know you don't have a problem, but trust me, call Bright Here now for a free hearing exam, a $125 value, yours free, just for making an appointment now. There are offices throughout the Los Angeles area. Call Bright Here now at 323-424-7100. That's 323-424-7100 for a free hearing exam. There's no obligation. Call now, 323-424-7100, or visit them on the web at brighthere.com. Late Night Health is proud of our partnership with the EBC, the Evolutionary Business Council. Check them out at ebcouncil.com.
You're listening to Late Night Health with Mark Alyn. The show continues in a moment.
Role models. They can make all the difference. In our world today, they have never been more important. One of the nation's most successful mentoring organizations is Jewish Big Brothers Big Sisters of Los Angeles. Their mission is to assist youth in achieving their full potential through innovative and impactful programs. And no nonprofit agency does it better. Jewish Big Brothers Big Sisters of LA serves Jewish children, boys and girls in our local community with a mentoring program that's been going strong since 1915. That's only the beginning. This nationally known agency owns and operates Camp Bob Waldorf. Its summer camping and weekend retreat programs enrich the lives of youth throughout Greater Los Angeles. Then there's a college support program, and last but not least, work that helps kids all over the world through the Teen Talk app. Want to learn more? Go to jbbbsla.org. Donate. Get involved. There's no better way to make a difference.
Welcome to Guide to the Soul. This is Robert Clancy. Balance in life isn't about making everything equal. It's about sharing equal parts of your heart for each area of your life. Many people seem to struggle with bringing their life into balance. Family, work, and health all seem to be a challenge these days. Think of the demands you have on your own schedule and time. It can be frustrating and overwhelming. What's most important to discover is that peace is not about finding a quiet place among the chaos. Peace is about listening for the divine whispers of love amidst this turmoil. Take a breath and you will find balance.
For more inspiration from Robert Clancy, visit guidetothesoul.com or go to the Moments with Robert page on latenightshealth.com.
Sometimes it's not what you say, it's how you say it. Words are a critical aspect of success. How you get your point across is a crucial part of what makes anything sell. So do it right and hire a writer. Whether it's articles, blog posts, technical writings, website content, product descriptions, or ghostwriting anything from a novel to a nonfiction book about your navel, contact Servet Hasan. If you want it to sell, write it right. Email Servet at servet@servethasan.com.
Late Night Health continues. I'm Mark Alyn, along with the insane Daryl Wayne. We're talking with Cornelius Ferreira. He is a board-certified family physician, and he's assistant chair for primary care at Nuvance Health in Connecticut and parts of New York. And we're talking about, do multivitamins really help fight colds, viruses, and COVID-19. Cornelius, did you take vitamins this morning when you got up?
I did not, but I did have a good fruit smoothie.
Oh, okay. Did you ask,
Yep.
When you had your smoothie, did you have any supplements added to that?
Yeah, so I usually do some protein and then just, strawberries and banana.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that sounds really good. Ooh, that'd be good right now. Do you recommend vitamins to your own family or not?
Yeah, so certainly, as I mentioned before, right? So for my father with macular degeneration, that's one of the areas where he sees ophthalmologists recommended an eye supplement containing those vitamins. So absolutely, there are some non-vitamins that we use often the time in medicine as well, right? So one of the products that's out there that a lot of men know about is something called saw palmetto, right? So that is a supplement that we sometimes will recommend for men with what we call benign prostate hypertrophy, where the prostate becomes enlarged over time, and that supplement can actually help to shrink the prostate down to help benefit those individuals. With COVID, right, one of the things that have come up that you mentioned before was, should we use vitamin D to help prevent infection or help to protect people? And there is some good evidence out there based on some studies that have been published that, using vitamin D as a supplement, mostly through the natural methods, right? So getting enough sunlight on your skin, which is about 10 minutes a week, could help to prevent people from getting COVID infection as well.
But if you put, we're scared of skin cancer, and which is up. And I mean, right now, the sun is just peeking out here in Southern California where Daryl and I are, and we're expecting a big rainstorm in the next couple of days, and we desperately need the water, but we can't go out in the sun. And if we're out in the sun and we put, some kind of sunblock on, we prevent the development of vitamin D, as I understand it.
Yeah, so especially, in some of these northern climates like Connecticut, where sometimes in the winter we don't get much sunlight, I tell patients if you want to do a vitamin D supplement, right, based on your physician's recommendations, we typically recommend between 600 and 800 international units on a daily basis to help do that supplementation.
And now let's get to the heart of the matter. We're still in the heart of this pandemic of COVID-19. I believe in the vaccines. I'm not a big fan of some of the junk that has in the past been put into the flu vaccine, the measles vaccine, and all the other vaccines. But with COVID-19, I wanted to get that shot so bad I could taste it, right? And I've had my booster. I think, have you had your booster, Daryl?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Good. And doctor, I'm assuming you've had your 2 shots plus a booster as well.
Yes, absolutely. I tell you, so prevention is better than cure. And I tell people for me and for my patients, I highly recommend vaccinations because, we know that there's long-term complications associated with COVID. We've all heard about the long haulers, people with prolonged periods of losing smell and taste. We know about the brain fog, fatigue, body aches, all of the different things that these poor patients are struggling with. And though the vaccines are not 100% protective, they certainly mitigate the risk for significant disease, illness, and death. And what I've underscored to patients, right, the other thing is we still don't know, right, because this is a relatively new virus. We still don't know what the long-term impact of this virus will be once you've had the infection, right? So in 5 years or 10 years from now, what are we going to learn about the long-term, what we call sequela or consequences of having had COVID infection? So for me, as a primary care physician, I'm really focused on making sure we prevent people from getting sick to start with. So I encourage everybody who's eligible to get their series completed and then get those boosters as well.
And because you practice preventive medicine, as I understand it, what about protecting ourselves with antioxidants and others that some healthcare professionals are saying we need to protect us from COVID-19?
Yeah, so that goes back to our lifestyle, right? So
it's a combination of two critical components. The first one is making sure that we get enough servings of fresh fruits and vegetables to help support those antioxidants, right? We know that fruits and vegetables are loaded with antioxidants in themselves. One of my favorites that I talk to patients about is pomegranate juice, because pomegranates are rich in antioxidants as well. And then the second piece is to help boost your immune system is I call it the magic pill of exercise. So 30 minutes, 5 days a week, or a total of 150 minutes of aerobic activity a week will go a long way to boost your immune system and help those antioxidants that you get through your healthy diet to boost your immunity and keep you healthier in the long run. Not only from infections such as COVID or influenza, but also, diseases such as cardiovascular disease, heart attack, stroke, diabetes, all of the things that we see today in the news.
Yeah, exercise is really important, and I need to up my exercise. When I talked to my doc a week ago, she insisted that happened. What about vitamin C and other antioxidants? Linus Pauling, who discovered vitamin C, winning awards, and I think he won the Pulitzer. There've just been so many studies that a lot of allopathic doctors poo-poo. Can you respond to that?
Yes, so vitamin C is a very interesting vitamin, right? So I always think of pirates and scurvy, right? When the sailors cross the oceans. So we know how important vitamin C is to your skin and then your mucous membranes, which are the linings of your mouth and many of your orifices. So vitamin C is very important, and there is some data that shows that because it plays a role in what we call collagen synthesis and keeping those mucous membranes healthier, that people taking vitamin C, especially in the winter months, there may be some benefits in that, preventing viruses from penetrating those mucous membranes. So the lining of the nose and the mouth, right, to prevent us from getting some of the upper respiratory tract infections that we get. So certainly there is some science and some data out there that supports vitamin C as helping to regenerate and improve the strength of those mucous membranes, which forms one of the first barriers against infection.
And so would you recommend that people, just as a preventive, take some kind of antioxidants or multivitamin?
Yeah, so again, it goes back to their diet, right? So if they really are not somebody who eats fruits and vegetables and they're only focused on meat and potatoes, then they would probably benefit from a daily supplement. If you're eating adequate amounts of fruits and vegetables, including your oranges, your nectarines, those are loaded with vitamin C. Good old orange juice that we can get in the grocery store. Lots of those are built into those. So I tell people if you can get it naturally, it's probably even better for you than the processed products that we buy in the multivitamins.
Oh, I love that. Very good. So no GMOs and organic if you can, right?
Absolutely.
Good deal. I haven't had a good tasting nectarine in a long time. Dr. Cornelius Ferreira has been our guest. He's with Nuvance Health, and I have a feeling he'll be back with us sometime in the next year. Happy holidays, Doctor, and thank you very much for your time.
Thank you so much for having me, and the same to you and your listeners. Happy holidays.
I'm Mark Alyn, along with the insane Daryl Wayne. Late Night Health continues.